The Decline of the Republic Senate, presented by Tony Burton, Senior Seminar, Indiana University. One of the more discerning truths of existence is that evolution is the key to survival. Biologically, a species that adapts and changes in the most useful ways will continue on to propagate and survive. This concept, as it turns out, can be applied to so much more than just the biological aspect of a species. It can also be applied to a culture's social and political progressions. This presentation represents a highlighted culmination of events, as well as possible eventualities associated with the decline of the Republic Senate and the fall of the Roman Republic. The Roman Republic was established in 509 BC, following the overthrow of Tarquin the Proud. Roman noblemen, who were led by Lucius Junius Brutus, became dissatisfied with the progression of their culture and the back-and-forth mentality of the bloody Roman monarchy. No longer wanting to serve as the king's council, these 100 patricians laid the footwork for what would eventually become the Roman Senate. The early Republic Senate operated more in line as a senatorial oligarchy, meaning that as time progressed and senators began dying out, their seats of power would be passed on to an heir. In order to be selected for this senatorial service, candidates had to be of the patrician class of Roman society, meaning they controlled lands and wealth. The Senate operated based on a debate and vote system, in which they created laws and policies, levied and collected taxes, advised local leaders, as well as determined the use of the Roman military. This system, however, was not without its issues. Although the evolution from a kingly ruled monarchy to an open republic was both profound and groundbreaking, the rules of succession would indicate early problems with the Republic Senate. Many senators inherited their titles from their predecessors or were selected by the consuls of the Senate. As senators were not elected by the people and limited to one social class, there was a clear distance created between the ruling and working classes. As time progressed in the early republic, it became evident to the working class or the plebeians that pushback was necessary against the Roman Senate. This led to the creation of the plebeian council. Dragula writes, Rome might well have become or remained a traditional oligarchy, but the abuse of patrician power ultimately led to the creation of the plebeian tribunate. This evolution to Roman politics created a unique system of checks and balances, where the Republic Senate would create laws or enact taxes, and the plebeian council would discuss these at great length and push back in areas where injustices would occur. Likewise, when the plebeian council would approach the Senate with ideas of land use and ways to improve livelihoods, there would be dialogue and decision-making. As the rule of the Roman Republic progressed along the timeline, certain issues would later become the failed footing for the Roman Senate. Nearly 500 years following its establishment, the Roman Senate found itself incapable of maintaining control. After centuries of inherited titles, power, and wealth, the Roman Senate would eventually be controlled by the unwilling or the incapable. In many cases, the Senate would prefer to squabble and debate rather than commit to a decisive action. This evolution led to a system of backdoor dealings, secret alliances, as well as more profound concern for the individual's self. Having grown to around 900 members during the dictatorship of Julius Caesar, the Senate would be paraded around as unworthy and incapable to the people. Under Sulla, the plebeian council itself had its powers removed, and so the patrician-led Senate had majority of control over Roman society. With so many voices and votes, many topics of discussion were prolonged to unnecessary lengths, and in some cases not discussed at all. In order for business to be discussed within the Roman Senate, both consuls needed to be present, and there were times when one would be away and the Senate would grind to a halt. Eventually, the Republic Senate was little more than a public showcase. Since the governing class was dominating the public discourse and the public sphere in general, it is argued that the natural effects of this show on the popular audience was to enhance the prestige of the elite. This includes both the ceremonial aspects of public meetings and the contents of speeches. Jacobson. The Republic Senate was rampant with corruption, greed, and was virtually left unchecked and uncontested within its own system. This failed evolution was recognized by distinguished leaders such as Caesar and Pompey. Pompey, having been left dissatisfied by the Senate's inaction in regards to its attempt to maintain control over Julius Caesar, wrote, "Fathers of the Senate, you could have done no more against me in my absence than you are doing now." As the end of the Republic loomed nearer and public opinion of the Senate wavered, Augustus Caesar ascended to dictatorship following the assassination of Julius Caesar. Augustus, who carried a unique drive and ambition, pushed for control of the Senate, and in 27 BC, Augustus, having stripped away the rest of the Senate's powers and used the guise of republic rule to the people, rose to be the first emperor of Rome. The Republic of Rome, over the course of its lifetime, saw many evolutions during the near 5.5 centuries of its existence. The Republic itself evolved from the Roman monarchy in 509 BC and established a near unshakable dynasty until its collapse and reform into the Roman Empire in 27 BC. The Senate, which was the central governmental institution of the Roman Republic, struggled to overcome key evolutionary necessities in order to solidify itself as a competent system of government. Rules of successions and the longevity of service became a serious problem for the Republic Senate, as senatorial seats were inherited or appointed by popularity among the initiated rather than by qualification, ability, or election from the masses. This system eventually led to a senatorial system that was incapable of control.